This is 5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
We are in a weather alert tonight. Over the last several hours, we have seen some showers around the bi-state. Some of them could be heavy for the rush hour. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. Once the rain moves out, we'll get some dry time over the next few days, along with warmer temperatures. Meteorologist Jim Castillo joins us now with that weather first forecast. Jim.
Yeah, nothing severe, but boy, we had a 1/4 of an inch of rain in a very short period of time at Lambert. And you can see that rain now from St. Louis southward, the back edge of it almost to Lambert, but eventually we will get out of this and the Cardinals will get their game in. But you can see that gold and the orange on here. Again, not severe, but very heavy downpours. We had much more lightning and more numerous lightning strikes a little earlier. Not really seeing that now, but Shrewsbury to Pear to Afton to Melville, a lot of shower activity. And you can see about 6:40 right when the Cardinals start. Looks like that rain coming to an end. And then during the evening hours, we'll see some nice clearing. But right now at Busch Stadium, there's definitely some rain and about 60 degrees at 6:45. So we're in the 50s now. We're expecting that temperature to go back up to about 60 once that rain comes to an end. So weather headlines: showers, some thunder, downpours, slowing the commute. No severe wind or big hail, which is great. But we'll talk about severe weather chances coming up in Maine Weather in just a few minutes.
We keep our weather first forecast updated on KSDK.com. For a link, just text the word weather to 314-425-5355. Tonight, pro-Palestinian protests against the war in Gaza are growing at college campuses across the country.
Hundreds of protesters have been arrested at several campuses, including NYU, Columbia, and Yale. So far, most of the arrests have been for trespassing. At Columbia, hundreds have camped out in protest. Now the school is holding hybrid classes until the end of the semester. Since the Israel-Hamas war started, school leaders say they've been struggling on where to draw the line between free speech and making sure students feel safe. Many Jewish students say they don't feel safe. There's also been a spike in cases of anti-Semitism.
This is not a welcoming environment. I think it's a very difficult time for a lot of Jewish students.
This is an actual crisis and an imminent threat.
I'm Jewish. A lot of the focus has been on, supporting Jewish students who have been facing anti-Semitism, but there has not been a lot of focus on, Palestinian students who have been, feeling anti-Islamic sentiments.
Last week, Columbia University's president testified before Congress about anti-Semitism on campus. More people are calling on her to resign for failing to crack down on the issue. Washington University cleared its campus this weekend when pro-Palestinian protesters showed up to set up a tent camp.
Now, top members of Missouri's congressional delegation are speaking out about the ongoing demonstrations, and our political editor Mark Maxwell is here with new reaction. Mark?
Yeah, President Biden condemned the anti-Semitic protests, but also condemned people who don't understand what's going on with the Palestinians, he said. Senator Josh Hawley then wrote Biden a letter urging him to call out the National Guard to Columbia University in New York City. I just got off the phone with the member of the New York National Guard. He told me there are some 32,000 cops in New York City. They don't need the National Guard to do crowd control on a college campus. He said the cops are trained to do this, and the National Guard is the last resort, and the city has more than enough cops to handle the problem. When reports about the anti-Semitic threats started to spread, though, Congresswoman Cori Bush, she appeared to question if those threats were legitimate and blamed them perhaps on outside agitators who, quote, manipulate the press and fuel the suppression of dissent. She compared these campus protests to some of her protests during Ferguson.
It makes a difference when you've been someone who's actually put your feet in the ground at these protests because you have something on the line, because you have something to lose. It was important for me then, and it's important to me now to be able to speak out. If that means putting my feet to the ground at a protest, to speak out to be able to save lives.
Bush also explained her vote against sending aid to Israel recently, saying it was, quote, because we don't want our tax dollars going to anywhere that's going to bomb children and to bomb innocent people. That U.S. policy in Gaza has become such a major flashpoint between Bush and her Democratic primary challenger, Wesley Bell. So we asked her today, would you commit to debate him? But she walked away before answering.
Tonight, police are investigating a homicide in North St. Louis County. Police got a call for a shooting on Prince Drive. That's in Castle Point. The victim is a man. He was taken to the hospital but later died. Anyone with information is asked to call police.
A former St. Louis police chief attended a murder trial today. He was there to support the family of fallen officer Tamaris Bohannon. He is charged with killing Bohannon in the Tower Grove South neighborhood in August of 2020. Kenworthy is on trial this week, charged with first-degree murder and other crimes. John Hayden was the police chief at the time of the murder. He was there for day 2 of the trial, along with a half dozen other officers.
That might have been the saddest day of my career, if not my life. But I'm hoping that the family gets closure, and I'm praying that they will be acceptable of whatever the outcome is.
The defense has admitted their client killed the officer, but they've entered a not guilty plea by reason of mental defect. The trial is scheduled to last until May 3rd.
A U.S. Marine with ties to St. Charles County is being remembered after he died during a training exercise. 5 on your side's Megan Kernan is here in studio with reaction from his high school and advice from a parent who has been through a similar experience. Megan.
Kelly, Sergeant Colin Arslanbus died in a training accident last Thursday at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina. Arslanbus had just been promoted on April 1st. Now, he's from Missouri and graduated from Fort Zumwalt West High School in 2019. The Fort Zumwalt School District said in a statement, Sergeant Arslanbus is remembered as a student with an infectious smile and a passion for serving those around him. Arslanbus was classmates with Jared Schmitz, another service member killed serving our country. Mark Schmitz, Jared's father, has been in contact with the Marine's mom, trying to help her through this difficult time and help with his homecoming.
I feel for her because I know what she's going to be going through, and I really would love to see the same type of outpouring of support that my son got, and I think that's important for her and her family too. This is in honor of his life. It is to honor the hero that he is. It's to honor his Marine background.
The cause of the training accident is under investigation. Meanwhile, the Fort Zumwalt School District says it will honor Arslanbus' service and sacrifice in a way that works with the family's wishes.
One of St. Clair County's busiest roads will soon be getting another makeover. County leaders have confirmed plans to expand Frank Scott Parkway an additional 1.5 miles. 5 on your side's Holden Kerwicki is in Shiloh with the latest details.
Just a few short decades ago, Frank Scott Parkway was a 2-lane road that ran mostly through farm fields, but it could soon expand to connect the towns of Belleville, Swansea, and Shiloh with Scott Air Force Base.
According to St. Clair County Highway Engineer Norm Ettling, $4 million in federal funding will be used to expand Frank Scott Parkway east to 5 lanes between Greenmount Road in O'Fallon and Cross Street in Shiloh, where 2 lanes will be added to connect the road with Air Mobility Drive near the front gate of the Air Force Base. Ettling says the expansion will ease traffic in the area where construction has become a common sight, but that's not the only benefit.
It also feeds into the supporting the mission of the base, because the base doesn't have a hospital anymore. So it'd be the fastest way for people to get from the base to either hospital, now Memorial, which would be right there at Cross Street, or St. Elizabeth's, which is on Greenmount.
St. Clair County is currently accepting bids for the project, which they expect to start sometime in 2025, with construction hopefully being wrapped up by 2027. Reporting in Shiloh, Illinois, Holden Kerwicki, 5 on your side.